Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Vaishali Raghvani. I am from Beamery. I'm an associate knowledge engineer here at Beamery. And today I'm going to be talking to you guys about um, knowledge graphs, including of people skills in companies. I'm just mindful. I don't think I'll be able to see messages until the end of the session as I only have one screen. So I'll get back to you after the session. So yeah, my name is Vaishali. So knowledge graph use cases in HR, they're a great use case. They're great for a HR business use case. This is because knowledge graphs are really great for combining siloed data. They have the ability to represent a large variety of data, and they've been around for an extremely long time. They're globally recognized. Semantic web is extremely popular, and there are lots of open source libraries we can use, lots of tooling for data model definition and control. We have the ability to enrich data through common vocabularies, and we use RDF graphs here at Beamery. This is because it's open standard, it's scalable, it's vendor agnostic, which means we have plenty of vendors that support RDF graphs if we were ever to perhaps move from one to another. And Beamery's mission is to put talent transformation at the heart of every business. Talent management is very important. We want to make sure that no talent gets left behind, and we truly believe that we are revolutionizing HR tech and making it streamlining it and making it a more enjoyable process. So the Edge team at Beamery is responsible for AI and knowledge graph tooling. Edge is split into the knowledge engineering team and the machine learning operations team. The knowledge engineering team provides the machine learning team with high quality data as a product, which is our mission. We want to make sure that our data is high quality, interpretable, context rich, and extremely accessible. We want everyone to understand the importance of knowledge graphs and how useful they can be in providing rich data, which then is able to provide you with rich solutions. So Beamery is a talent lifecycle management platform. We focus on putting skills first because we want companies to understand the skills and capabilities they have. This is so that they can focus on the skills of an individual as opposed to anything else, and to try and remove any conscious or subconscious bias that they might have. By putting skills first, we can build a more agile workforce, attract and retain talent, and we have the ability to upskill and redeploy individuals as well. We keep track of skills and provide skill management, and we always ensure that our skills data is up to date so that we know how skills and roles change, and we can always provide a current view of the workforce. Skills and roles change rapidly, so it's important to constantly invest in skill management because it can quickly become outdated, and quickly become not useful, which is exactly what we're trying to avoid and reduce. And HR is so complicated, and you might be wondering why. It has a lot of siloed data. It's a very complex domain because everybody values skills differently and might have a different interpretation of skills. There are a lot of legacy systems that don't really talk to each other, so it makes it difficult to keep track of duplicate information. It means we have data for an individual stored in a variety of different systems, even though they may relate to the same individual. So you can source somebody in a different platform to where you might maintain them and keep track of them. And it basically means that people in HR are so used to using all of these legacy systems and different platforms for sourcing and hiring and talent management. But there are better ways to do this, which is exactly what we're trying to do. Because of all these different systems, it makes it difficult to keep track of talent, and it essentially means that talent can fall through the cracks and companies can lose talent that is very valuable to them. And Beamery is different because our platform allows you to do all of this in one place. You can keep track of alumni, engage talent, and focus on internal mobility all in our platform. It means that you may be able to attract boomerangs back to the company if they've moved on and perhaps are looking for a new challenge at a company that they really enjoy and they really love. And we do this by focusing on skills and using that as a universal language for talent management. We can then use machine learning algorithms to predict things like candidate pathing, where they might be able to move to. We can keep track of their skills and previous experience and infer skills that they may have or they may easily be able to gain based on their current skills, and produce an entire life cycle view of an individual and do much more. So knowledge graphs help us do this because skills aren't created equal. Like I've said previously, companies and individuals understand skills differently. Communication skills, for example, will mean something completely different for somebody for a junior working in a team, and being able to communicate with their team members, as opposed to a senior member or a leader, or somebody being in a client-facing role. They will have to have much stronger communication skills as they are speaking to external members, or they are managing people. So they need to be able to articulate themselves much better in comparison to a more junior member of the team, for example. Knowledge graphs are great for providing data from multiple sources and being able to reconcile this to trustable entities. We're able to capture skills and produce a canonical set of skills that we can then continue to reconcile more and more data to. And we're able to capture the semantic relationships that skills may have to roles, companies, experiences. And with all of this rich context, we're able to provide a single source of truth in the HR domain that can enable downstream applications. And so how are we doing this? We're doing this by building a single source of truth, because sorry, skills data is disparate and overlaps largely, and being able to create a clean set of mutually exclusive accurate terms is imperative. We do this by focusing on using data meshes and decentralized data sources to translate these data points into a common, understandable, and representative data fabric. We ingest data from a variety of different sources, and we are then able to use AI solutions to reconcile them to a canonical data set, that thus providing a single source of truth. This is important because AI solutions at Beamery are enabled by the knowledge graph, which needs a high quality data set in order to give high quality outputs. AI needs high quality data to work with. Otherwise, we get outputs that aren't trustable or usable, which is far from what we want. The knowledge graph enables provenance, so we can track how skills change over time and what skills may be of more importance now compared to 10 years ago. It also ensures that we capture skills that may not have existed 10 or 20 years ago. For example, AI is super popular at the moment. There's a lot of traction around ChatGPT and large language models. Skills and roles in AI are very likely to continue to grow in the next few years and change and continue to expand. And it's important that our source of truth reflects this. The graph can continually be updated so we can ensure that companies understand what they are hiring for. So, for example, we can ensure that programming Python code programming, Python development programming, all reconciles to one single canonical skill, which is Python. And we do this by using open source solutions to ingest data into our desired format into our knowledge graph. So we produce a standardized data set that can be ingested into the knowledge graph that is consistent with our own ontology. And any information that we wish to ingest at a later date can be normalized to our format in order to be ingested into the graph. We use semantic web standards to build our taxonomies, and we're constantly investing in these taxonomies to ensure that they are up to date and of high value. This ensures that we have an always up-to-date skills taxonomy so that we can get the most out of our skills. So looking into a broader range and looking at context, we know that skills alone aren't enough for talent management. It means nothing without greater context, because you can't rely on just skills to talk about to understand where individuals can move or how their experiences at different companies differ in value and how they might be important. So the real benefit of using a knowledge graph is the ability to enrich information and a large amount of linked data to provide context. We're able to create a taxonomy of roles, companies, and experiences to enrich the graph and show how a skill at a company might differ or how important it is. We're able to store the semantic relationships between companies and people, locations and companies, people's experiences at companies, so that we can understand these relationships. And overall, it will produce a higher quality of data where we can uncover industry context. We can also store things like skill proficiencies, so we can understand the importance of skills and how they relate to different role seniorities. Again, going back to that example, somebody who's in a leadership role will have to have a much stronger set of communication skills compared to a junior, and we can store all this information in the knowledge graph to be able to understand this. It helps us to identify what skills individuals might need to upskill if they wish to be promoted, or if they even wish to move from one role to another. We can identify where they might need to up their game so that they are able to make that move. The graph on the right is an example. It might look a bit complicated, but for example, our founder Sultan Saidov at Beamery, we can then make links to Beamery itself. He's a founder of Beamery, but we know that Beamery is located in London. We have its website, where it was when it was founded, and we're able to make links to London itself as a city. We're able to make links to investors like EQT partners, and from that we're able to find out when EQT was founded, its website, etc., and so on. So this is a diagram of how we can relate job descriptions and skills and make inferences. It shows what education is relevant. So for example, we've got a CPO and a chief product officer, and we know that they are the same thing, and we can store this relationship in the knowledge graph. We can identify what a CPO oversees, and we know what level they are in terms of seniority. We can understand what this kind of role is similar to, based on on the executive level, and we can understand what responsibilities this person is responsible for. We're able to make links to similar profiles, and we're also able to understand what kind of education might put you into this role by looking at an individual in this role and the education that they have. We can understand what kind of experience you might have prior to this role, again, looking at individuals who have this role and what experiences they have. We can understand how much experience you need and what skills are required for this role. And we can understand what kind of personality somebody in this role will have. Again, looking at the kind of skills this person possesses. Although these are more personable skills and more soft skills, we would store all of this information in the knowledge graph to be able to uncover wider context and really be able to understand exactly what a role requires and what is truly important for it. So AI capabilities are enabled by the knowledge graph, and this is an example of what we do here at Beamery. We can provide skills-based recommendation and matching by using taxonomies to connect entities and guide recommendations. So this is exactly what putting skills first gives us access to. If you have a skill in web development, you can split that up into back end or front end, and we can understand the child skills in relation to these skills. So we know that Node.js and databases are a back-end skill. We know that front-end skills are React and Angular, and we can broaden web development to version control, algorithms, data structures, or JavaScript. In a graph, it can also look like this, where we understand how these skills broaden into sub-skills and how they all relate to each other. And we can use these skills-based recommendations these skills-based recommendations and matching to come up with more useful skills and use that to support us. So we can use it to provide us with job descriptions, to help enrich our job descriptions and give us access to a wider range of clients who might have some of the inferred skills and who may be a good match. This supports us and our customers because we're able to use AI capabilities to supplement their hiring. And this is all facilitated by the knowledge graph, by being able to provide a holistic view of skills and roles, the semantic relationships. It all supplements the AI we're building here at Beamery in order to make sure we're providing valuable results that clients and customers can actually use, as opposed to getting results that aren't of much value at all. So for Beamery, this means that we're able to build a strong and accurate source of truth that facilitates our AI capabilities in order to produce high quality results. It empowers our data science team to produce unbiased and high quality AI models. These have actually been evaluated by third party auditors to make sure that they are truly unbiased. It enables candidate matching, so being able to find roles that candidates would be most suited to. It enables internal mobility, so we know what skills each individual possesses and where they might be a good fit, even if it's not necessarily in their vision. This really helps to make sure we're getting the most out of our candidates, and it enables a full talent lifecycle view. So it allows alumni to return and for companies to have boomerang candidates who they already know have been high value to the company, and maybe be able to do something else. We've all seen articles of how ChatGPT might be reinforcing human bias. And Beamery's aim is to build unbiased and ethical AI, and the knowledge graph is the key to this. It's what enables this to be possible. So what else? Our RDF open source, because we're using RDF graphs, RDF's open source tooling is perfect for building our source of truth. Here are some of the open source tools we use and we contribute to. You might recognize some of them. Some of them have been along for a very long time and are key to powering semantic web. RML's YAML parser is actually used by Google's Knowledge Graph. They have a Knowledge Graph API. I think that's been released in the last year or so, and you can see snippets of it through Google. SCOS is used for taxonomy models. And yeah, these are a lot of open source tools that we use. They're all incredibly useful. I'm sure most of you have come across them previously in your work because they are quite common as well. So Beamery's mission is to create equal access to work, and I hope I've been able to explain how we're trying to do that. Thank you. I'm going to leave it on this slide and return to Ermi just in case there are any questions. So there is a question. I see a couple actually. Use of ESCO and other open vocabularies. Yes, we have looked at ESCO owner. We do use them to supplement building our source of truth so that we can try and provide a holistic views from um, lots of different sources. And I see a question about how many jobs and skills are in our ontology. So our knowledge graph is made up of 20 billion facts. Jobs and skills, I think there are about 30,000 skills in our canonical taxonomy and about 25,000 jobs at the moment. Yes, we do use real-time content to keep our knowledge graph up to date. We're constantly reviewing it and trying to ensure that we're looking at new jobs and skills that are coming up so that we can ensure they're included in the graph. Oh, sorry. I'm just gonna see if any more questions come up. But if not, then that's fine. But we can give it a bit more longer. Which RDF store do you use to store the graph? We use Virtuoso. I'm not sure what the question is surrounding tacit knowledge. Okay, I've just been informed that we're out of time. If you have any questions, feel free to message or connect with me on LinkedIn. My name is Vaishali Raghvani. You can find me there. But thank you for your time, and I hope you've enjoyed the session.